Hello and welcome back everyone to the Gamers Initiative podcast with me, myself and I and the infamous RedDeadPanda. How you doing, RedDead?
I'm good. How are you, Elite?
I'm really good, really good. Yeah, it's not 20 past 9 in the morning for me, so what is it for you now?
25 past 8 at night for me.
Yeah.
Monday night, yeah.
And then 9:20 Monday morning for me, and for those in the States it will probably be, it might be just really early hours for some of them, Monday morning. So,
Yeah, probably.
how you been? What you been doing? What you been up to? What you playing?
So I've had a little bit of time off, which has allowed me to actually do some stuff on my house, which has been really lovely. But I've been playing, what's the, I'm trying to think of the games I've been playing. I tried Outriders, and I've been playing the new season of Diablo 3, and I played Wolfenstein: The New Order. Thoroughly loving that.
From Game Pass?
Almost finished that. Yeah, Game Pass, all through Game Pass.
Yeah.
And then I recently tried the first Doom game. I'd never played any Doom games before, but I tried that because that's on Game Pass, and I was enjoying that. I was over at my friend's house playing on his Series X, and he's recently a convert over from mainly playing on PlayStation, and he plays a bit of PC. He used to play Xbox like right at the very beginning of last generation, and then he converted completely over to PlayStation, and now, because there's not enough games for him to play on PlayStation 5, he has now bought himself a Series X and is playing on Game Pass. So he's learning about all the stuff there, like I was talking about game sharing, and he's like, hey, hit me up. And I'm like, I already game share with someone else, guys.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, like, introducing people who used to be Xbox and who've come back to Xbox, and like kind of showing them all the great things that they've been missing that they didn't realize they were missing. So I even got to play on his PlayStation 5, so I'm going to do a video about my first impressions of the PlayStation 5, and that'll be up on my channel sometime this week.
Yes, check that out, guys.
I've been watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Yes.
and I've been enjoying that. Have you been watching that?
Yeah,
Elise?
I'm up to date in everything. I'm up to date.
You're up to date?
Yeah, for a change. Yeah, you're always an episode ahead of me for some reason, but I made sure I watched
That's
it.
because I'm in the future.
Yeah, that'd be it. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I was trying to watch it Friday morning, but because we're ahead of America, it hadn't released,
Everyone
so we
else.
had to wait for their Friday. So I couldn't actually watch it on Friday until America was
That's
in
what I
Friday in
ran
America.
into with the Outriders game being fully released, and even the new season 23 of Diablo 3. Had to wait till it went live on their servers for April 2nd, and I was like, oh, sometimes being ahead of the curve and the time zone I'm in, it's actually really frustrating. Like, I wish it was like, as soon as it goes the same date it would be for me, I wish the service went live. It's
Imagine the
frustrating.
advantage we'd get.
But yeah, what have you been up to, Elite?
So yeah, I've been having a go of Outriders. I'll probably throw some gameplay into this video when I edit it. So I've been playing Outriders.
What class are you playing?
I'm playing a Trickster.
Oh, same.
Are you playing Trickster as well? Oh,
Yeah.
man, maybe I should start a game then. I'm just thinking if we ever play together, do we both want to play Tricksters?
We'll definitely have to play together, because my sister and I have currently been playing Destiny 2 together, because she's getting back into Destiny.
Yeah, we never played Destiny 2 together, did we? So, I don't know, where do I start a game then? Do I make reboot with a different character? Because I was playing the Trickster. I actually thought you would be. I was thinking about it at the time. I was thinking you might have been the sniper or the healer character for some reason. I don't know why. Okay.
Healer character.
Yeah, murderer. It's good when you use his power, his close range power, and it just turns them all into sort of skeleton dusts and things and just evaporate.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's in slow-mo.
Yeah.
I love that. And watching all the bullets fly, that's pretty cool.
It's really good. It's done really well, the game, considering. It's a really nice game. I really like it. But this is the beauty of Game Pass, that we can play it. I'm enjoying it, and I think I might actually buy it now, and we get 20% off on Game Pass. So
Yeah, that's true. What else have you been up to, Elite?
so I've been playing Dragon Ball Z again. I reinstalled that. I've been playing through that again, and Naruto, and
Conan.
Yeah, I was playing with Conan. Started a new server. I was on American servers because of my old job. I was on American servers because of the time difference for raid and stuff like that. But now I can't do it. I can't keep up with it. So I've gone back to European servers. What else is there? I've been playing other stuff and doing other stuff, but I can't think of the games.
Which off though?
Stuff with Game Pass. I've been just looking through Game Pass games and just downloading them out of the garden. It's just the beauty of Game Pass.
Yep, Octopath Traveler I've downloaded to play.
Yeah, I can't think of the game I downloaded recently. I downloaded, what's the two games called? I downloaded Prey, didn't like that too much, and Thingy, Dishonored 2, downloaded that and all, that wasn't too bad, I don't mind that, I didn't like Prey too much, it was a bit too...
It's the great thing about Game Pass.
Yeah,
you can try it, and if you like it, you can always buy it.
You can buy
or
it.
You can just play it until it goes out of Game Pass. Or you can just try a different game if you don't like it.
You don't have to rent it. It's the delusion that it's only a renting service. It's not. It's more like a trial service, I'd say, where you can sort of trial games for a few months, and if you like them, you can then buy them for a discounted price. So that's what people are missing out. So people are still buying these games.
Don't use logic.
Yeah, I know.
Don't use logic on some of the gaming community elite. You know it goes horribly wrong for us.
Which is, I don't think PS Now allows. I don't think you can play the games on PS Now, and if you like them and buy them, I don't think you can. And a lot of games are streamed anyway, so yeah.
But I just want to say hi to everybody who tunes in every week when we actually do a show. Alida and I haven't really been available like last week, and it was my dad's 70th, and I had the whole weekend like taken up, so we couldn't actually fit in time to do a show. And so we've managed to fit in time to do a show this week, but it has been a little bit difficult. You and I have been both extremely busy with people coming over and a whole heap of things going on. So appreciate all the support and all the comments and all the people who follow us. But just want to say apologies for this being like 3 weeks without a show.
That's right. And where can we find you? Where can the fans find you? Because we need to get your subs up. We need to get both our subs up. Let's get some more support for your channel.
You can find me on Twitter at RedDeadPanda1, and that is the number 1. You can find me on Xbox Live at RedDeadPanda871. I've been on there quite a bit recently. Been, like I said, playing Destiny 2, and you can also find me on YouTube at RedDeadPanda Gaming. What about you, Elite? Where is the only place we can find you other than in the UK?
Here is the only place you can find me, I'm afraid. I'm only on YouTube at the moment. I was on Twitter. I might go back to it, but I'm just, as I said, it's just too toxic. I'm just finding less and less reasons to go to it, especially with the cancel culture now. There's lots of people being banned and cut off it, isn't there now? But so I'm still thinking about making a Twitch account and being more on Twitch. I'm not too sure. See how it goes. But you can find me here. So always find me here. Shall we get into our first topic?
Yeah, we'll go for it. So I know this is a bit late because we did miss last week's show, but I did want to kind of touch on I Did Xbox, and I know you and I talked about this a little bit. You didn't watch the show. I watched bits and pieces of the show. It was a really hard thing to watch because it goes for 3 to 4 hours on Twitch as a stream. And I know that they both Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg both set expectations before this even aired, that this isn't something you should get hyped about. But what's actually been going around, I guess I would just put in, the show was, I wouldn't say a disappointment. I think the format of the show was atrocious, and I don't think that is on Xbox. I think that is on Twitter. Not Twitter, sorry. Oh my god, what's my Twitch? Oh my gosh, why is Twitter on my brain? Twitch. So apparently Xbox gave all the ID and Xbox info to Twitch, and Twitch was meant to run the stream. And from what we understand, it should have been maybe an hour and a half tops, which a 90-minute show, which would be ideal for those who do carve a little bit of time out of their day to watch those little events. And being console gamers and the world that we are in now, you don't always have a lot of time to carve out to sit down and watch 4 hours for a show, when that's 4 hours where you could be gaming instead. right? So I think it was overall the formatting was a bit trash, and I was a bit disappointed. I think the highlight for me though was Stalker 2. Still want to see more about that. I did look into a bit about Stalker 1 because I didn't play the first one, so I wanted to see what that was about. That was my highlight of the show, and the Ascent. The Ascent looks really, really, really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised with that. You can see what they've done with it compared to when they first showed it off to what it is now. But I just kind of wanted to point out, I know everyone was disappointed, but in comparison to what I feel like Xbox did and what the PlayStation, oh my god, what is it? PlayStation...
State of Play.
State of Play, that's it. Can tell I don't care about that show. I don't even know its name. State of Play, I still feel like ID at Xbox was the strongest show than State of Play.
Probably showed more
even
games.
Though the formatting and the length of ID at Xbox was horrendous.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrendous. They didn't need everything that they had going on there. They just needed to show the games and let the games speak for themselves.
Yeah, nothing on there. Because, did they show Exomecha?
Yes, that was there. I've seen enough on that to know I want to play that game.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely... Well, I want to play that.
Quite happy with that game.
Yeah, we'll both play that. I'm looking forward to playing that. I think Ascent would be a good game we could both play together. It looks like it's a good card game we can run through. That'd be a good dungeon
Reminds me of Diablo.
Yeah, exactly. So that might be quite fun. Stalker's interesting. Can't think of other games that come out. But I'm not sure why people overhyped or over bigging this up, because Xbox prior to the show come out and said don't get hyped. This is not a demonstration of our first party or our AAA titles. This is mainly just sort of small indie titles and third party stuff that's coming to Xbox. It's, for the most part, exclusive to Game Pass at PC and if not timed exclusivity. So I'm not sure why people were sort of, it's not what we wanted, it's not what, but they told you what it was going to be, and the clue's kind of in the title, really, if you think about it. So yeah, that's the reason why I didn't watch it, because I knew it wasn't gonna. I knew the titles I was showing, for one, are games I've already seen and was interested in, but I'm mainly looking out for their new first party stuff we've not seen gameplay for, which is their first party stuff. I've seen gameplay for games those games they've shown. It's their first party stuff, so that's why I didn't watch the show. So if you watch the show and was disheartened, then that's kind of on you, because I don't know what you was hoping for, really. But yeah,
I just think of the idea Xbox show, right? And I'm like, there are going to be, I think when we look at what Xbox is actually going to show, and they're the ones running the stream, I can't wait to see what's coming. I am hyped for what is coming, because you know what's coming down the line. You know that there is more Halo Infinite, where they might actually show a better demo. Fingers crossed. I really don't care. I just want the game. I'll play it.
Hellblade 2 gameplay.
I played it in the state it was in last year. It's a Halo game. The gameplay is what I'm playing it for, not the looks. The gameplay looks smooth AF. But the knowledge of the studios and everything that's going to be coming in the future for Xbox is so exhilarating, and I just can't wait for it. But you know there's going to be some ID at Xbox stuff shown in that show, sprinkled in somewhere, because it's such a big stage that it's a great way for them to boost up an indie studio, and fingers crossed we hear something.
I imagine in the Xbox show, they might show some of the bigger independent games that are not first. Stuff like Ark 2, they'll probably show at the Xbox show, because that's exclusive to Xbox and PC. It's not going to PlayStation next. Ark 2. So that will be, they probably will show that, because that's a massive game, and then it's been supported also by, what's his name? Fast and Furious. Vin Diesel. So so you'll be surprised if he doesn't even come on stage and talk about Ark 2. That'd be fantastic. Just like that Keanu Reeves for Cyberpunk. I think they didn't come on stage before. Like
this was a palate cleanser. This was their lead-in, because Xbox has not been quiet this whole year.
No.
Do you know who has been quiet? Sony.
Yeah.
And so this is the beginning. This is their. Hey, we'll start you off slow, and I can guarantee you they're going to hit it home later on this year. There's a lot more coming for Xbox, as well as a lot more coming for Sony. But Sony have been super quiet about it. and I'm not so confident in them as I would normally be.
If it's a good
because
quietness,
they just don't seem to be the Sony that we know.
No, is it a good quietness or a bad quietness? And I've got a feeling it's going to be a bad quietness because we've already seen games delayed. I mean, they've delayed Gran Turismo to next year now, 2022. They've said Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War come out this year, yet we've seen no gameplay of either of them, and nothing. They didn't even show them a state of play, which is weird.
Well, every game's been delayed. Ratchet and Clank was delayed.
Yeah, exactly. They delayed all their games. I wouldn't be surprised if none of those games drop this year. You might get Ratchet and Clank towards the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War is delayed.
It's May or June, Ratchet and Clank.
Is it? I'm not sure, but
But I really just wanted to kind of talk about the fact that like we missed last week's show, so we didn't get a chance to roughly talk about ID at Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the best show, but it wasn't Xbox's worst show, other than the weird talking with the actual like Twitch streamers and stuff. I thought that was really cringe. I struggled with that.
Yeah, I think it's always cringy when they talk to gamers and things like that.
It
just
was
seems a bit forced sometimes.
Really
Right, should we move on to the next topic, which is
yeah. Do you want to lead the show on that one?
MLB. Yeah, I see what we did there. Should we lead the MLB the show on this one? Right. So MLB the show coming to Game Pass. Thoughts on that?
But not just Game Pass. Coming to Game Pass, what?
Day one.
Oh my god, my cat's crying.
Why do people say day and date? I know, I've always been confused by that term. Because surely if it's sort of the same day, it's going to be the same date, isn't it? It's not going to be day, but a different date, is it? That'd just be weird.
Sorry, I'm just putting my cat out. He's crying.
Okay. So it's come to day one to Game Pass. Now, this has got a lot of fanboys upset. The media don't seem to be covering it half as much as they should be doing. But the point of this is that firstly, it's first party. It's a first party game. I've recently done a video on it. It's a first party game for PlayStation. Because remember the backlash and all the laughter we got when there was first party Xbox games going to PlayStation, and it was like, oh no, they're giving up, they're giving away games to PlayStation. Now we get this, and it's like, first we get this is the comedy of it. It's only a sports game, it doesn't matter. When did they ever say that before? When they've talked about the MLB show, it's only a sports game. It's nothing.
Are you talking damage control?
No, it isn't. It's only a sports game, or no one cares for it, or we don't like it. That's what's horrible. Is that they're so quick to shit on their own developers. They're just so quick to hate on their own brand like that when they sort of switch sides or go to another platform. They're so quick to just hate on them.
When you heard the news, what was your first thought when you heard that MLB The Show, which is a PlayStation studio who makes the game, and it's been a PlayStation exclusive since it released. So how many years is that? Like almost 20 years, right? It's been something ridiculous like that it has never come to another platform other than PlayStation until now.
Yeah.
And not only is it that, it is $70 on the PS5.
Yeah.
And it is free with Game Pass, other than the subscription you currently pay for Game Pass.
Yeah.
The day it releases. And if you like the game, you can also buy it off Game Pass.
But,
what were your thoughts?
Well, just do the maths on it. So it's £70 on PlayStation, but if you buy it through Game Pass, it's £56. So on Xbox, if you buy it, actually buy the game, not rent it. You can buy it for £56. If you buy it for PlayStation, it's £70. So because you get 20% off Game Pass, all games are in Game Pass. That's what people are not realising. People just think Game Pass is a renting service. No, it's more like a trial service where you can play games. If you like them, you can buy the games directly from Game Pass with 20% off every purchase.
So what I'm hearing from you is Sony is basically ripping off all the people that buy into their ecosystem.
Not so much ripping off.
They're just being facetious.
Yeah, they're just being greedy. Because the thing I've not liked about Sony, and we'll do this on one of our topics we've got to come up, is that they seem to just keep charging their fans who refuse to say anything negative towards it. They just overcharge. recently boosted games up. Well, Xbox has come out with Game Pass and given you a cheap alternative to playing games, as well as giving you 20% off games, retail games that are in Game Pass. Sony have bumped their games up to £70. And then this is following on from peripherals. So when the PS5 come out, all your peripherals, your controllers and stuff like that on your PS4 will not work on your PS5. You had to buy all new gadgets, all new controllers, headsets, stuff like that. Whereas the Xbox, all your old peripherals across gen to the next gen console, you didn't have to buy new controllers, you didn't have to buy new headsets and stuff like that. It just seems to be Sony continuously finding ways to get more money off their players, rather than just throwing out games, throwing out content and just doing good deals. I mean, and the same goes, which go into later, regarding the PS3 closing the PS3 store.
Do you think Sony has to now come back with an answer to this to some degree? Because that is what I'm hearing from their community, is they need to come back and answer what Xbox is doing with Game Pass, because these people who are buying into that ecosystem feel like they're being mistreated by Sony or PlayStation, specifically PlayStation, guys, not Sony, because of this. They want Sony to clap back.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Do you think Sony can come back with an answer to this?
The issue is here, Sony won't, because unfortunately the media isn't going at them yet, isn't having to sort of bring them aside and saying, wait a minute Sony, what are you doing here? And then doing a like-for-like comparison with Xbox, what Xbox is doing, what PlayStation is doing. So the media's still not jumping on that. They're still not being negative towards PlayStation like there was for Xbox for 7 years. Also, their fans, unfortunately, the louder fans are trying to firstly cancel Game Pass, and two, say like it's not a good deal, and they're trying to downplay Game Pass. And so that instead of attacking Sony or just selling Sony, no, wait a minute, we want to stop paying excess money for stuff which Xbox players are getting for cheaper. They're attacking Xbox, which just seems to be their default. Whenever they're wronged by Sony, they just attack Xbox. It's weird. It's what the media was doing for so long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they need to come out and say to Sony, look, why is this... I mean, a good point is, why is this game not day one in PS Now? Why is it day one in Game Pass but not day one?
That is a really good question.
Yeah, why is it not day one in PS Now? Why have Sony not put it into PS Now? It's their game. Why have they not put their own games into PS Now day one? Because they want to make £70 off the game. They want to make more money.
It would be perfect for.
Yeah. Put it. You don't think you're gonna? It's not going to get the support. The game never has done. It's always sold about 1 to 2 million copies on PS4, which had 120 million units on the market, but it still only sold 1 to 2 million copies. That's when MLB come out and said, "Look, you're not making us money. We're going to take the license off you." And Sony went, "Oh no, wait! Please don't do that." So the MLB said, "Okay, let us make the game multi-platform." And Sony then said, "Okay." And as a YouTuber was saying that it's not being published. The version on Xbox and PC is not being published by PlayStation. It's being published by MLB themselves. And he's trying to downplay that as a bad thing. But that's actually a good thing, because that means, well, it's a good thing for MLB, because all the copies and the money's made from the Xbox and PC version won't go to PlayStation. It will go to MLB, because they're publishing and they're paying PlayStation developers to make the game. So the money's made will go to them. Yeah, will go to them, not to PlayStation. If PlayStation published published the Xbox version, then PlayStation would have got the money. But they're not. They pulled back and said, we don't want to publish it. MLB can do it. MLB went, yep, okay, we'll do it. And they're going to make all the money. Whereas when we had Xbox games onto PlayStation, like Outer Worlds, that was still being published by Xbox. They were still publishing it. So money's made on the PlayStation would have went to Xbox, not PlayStation. And I don't know why Sony were just feeling cheap and didn't want to publish it, unless MLB said, we're going to publish it on Xbox, because they knew they would make a killing from it on Game Pass. Because the game is a lot of the games got MTs in it, microtransactions in it, and they probably thought, we'll drop it on Game Pass, they're going to play it for really cheap, but they will buy up the MTs, because that's what people do. I've bought loads of microtransactions, because people are very negative towards microtransactions, and I'm fine with microtransactions when the game is free. If you get a game that's pretty much free to play, then I don't mind spending 15 quid, 20 quid here and there for a microtransaction, because I'm playing the game free anyway. Or I'm getting 20% off the retail version So I don't mind paying some MTs, which take me up to the full price version of the game, which it would be if it wasn't on Game Pass. So we're winning. It's a win-win for Game Pass and a win-win for Xbox, and it's a win-win for MLB. It's not a win at all for Sony. And really, they should have looked at this and said, we're going to put it in PS Now day one for to boost the user count for the MLB for the PlayStation, and 2, to compete with Game Pass, and 3, to boost the PS Now subscription services. How many people subscribe to it? People might subscribe to PS Now if MLB the show was in there. But Sony are just so behind on the curve. They're so focused on sales, selling units and selling physical copies, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna chuck my head in the ring and talk about my first thoughts. So I woke up in the morning to Twitter blowing up my phone, and first lot of news, which we're going to talk later about on the show, is about the Xbox mini fridge. But that was confirmed that was going into production, and then that MLB the show was not only coming to Game Pass, but coming to Game Pass day one, and that was huge. I knew the ramifications because the fact that it had never come to Xbox before, and not only was it coming to Xbox, it was coming to Xbox in a way that meant you didn't have to pay $70 for the game. And in the environment that we're in today with the pandemic, means that not everyone can afford $70 for a game. So you have to be really smart about, especially on the Sony or PlayStation platform side of their ecosystem, you have to be smart about how you're spending your money. Right now, you can spend $70 on that really amazing PlayStation game that PlayStation is known for, or whatever, those specific exclusives. And then if you happen to own an Xbox or a PC and happen to have Game Pass, it's a really good way to play all those other games at a lower fee. And that was just mind-blowing, because Twitter was just a buzz with people trying to damage control the news, people trying to trash PlayStation, people talking about trying to get Jim Ryan fired because they couldn't believe that this was happening. That Sony or PlayStation would let a game that is a Sony game, made by a Sony studio, allowed on Game Pass. Especially since they're not allowing it on their own subscription service. And you're very right, it should be on PlayStation Plus as part... I don't think it should be on PlayStation Now. I think it should be on PlayStation Plus as part of that collection. Yeah. Get people into that subscription service. I mean, they've done nothing with the Gaikai acquisition with those, other than creating PlayStation Now. And they didn't even utilize Gaikai for what it was there for. They didn't see streaming the way, or their live services, or the cloud, the way Xbox saw it, and utilized it, and now look at what's happening with Game Pass. Yeah. But once I kind of got the shock out of it, and I had a bit of a giggle because of the backtracking people have had and how people were reacting to this, I really understood why it was going to Game Pass, because we don't have a and I'm not a sports game person. I'm not going to play MLB The Show, and I'll just put it out there right now. It's not for me. I might love Game Pass, but it's not a Game Pass game I'm going to play because I really don't like sports game. But I really realized and understood the smarts behind this decision. I took myself out of that whole, haha, you're not Xbox is winning type mentality, because it's easy enough for me to fit into that, because I'm so sick of hearing how Sony always wins and Sony is always better and blah blah blah. It gets old, and it really starts to grind my gears to a certain point. But I was really, really pleased that they realized that in order to get people to buy into this game that they have never played before on Xbox, and for those who don't play PlayStation, you will not have played this game. So an easy way to get people into it, put it on Game Pass. Game Pass is a way that you can easily demo a game and then decide, do I want to buy it? And like you said, you can get a 20% discount just for being a Game Pass subscriber. So instead of paying $70, you'd be paying $56. So it's cheaper regardless. That was the biggest thing. I understood they need to get this game out to as many people as possible because this is not a known quantity on the Xbox ecosystem. It is a known quantity on the PlayStation ecosystem. So PlayStation gamers who've been playing MLB The Show for many years know exactly what they're playing. Like they did the game before that and the game before that. But Xbox gamers who have not played it before don't know what they're getting into. Why would you put that much money down on a game that you aren't 100% sure you're going to like? And that's the purpose of Game Pass. If you're not sure you're going to like it, you can try it there, and you haven't spent anything on top of that other than your subscription, and if you don't like it, you just uninstall the game.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing with games that I was never sure about, didn't want to put the money down, tried it on Game Pass, made my decision whether I liked it or not, and then moved along. So that was the biggest thing for me, was just realizing the smarts of why they did it, and the best bet for MLB The Show to find an audience amongst a gaming community that didn't have that game to begin with. I think there might have been a baseball game in the past at some point for Xbox, but nothing like MLB The Show. But I also want to talk about how, I guess, they like you said, it's just a sports game. They're trying to damage control. It's just a sports game. It's nothing big. It is a big thing. It's been a game that's never come to Xbox before. It's been a game that's completely exclusive. And we know how much the Sony PlayStation community, love exclusives.
Yeah.
They shove it in our faces every chance they can get.
Yeah. And what they also
have been talking about... Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, they also shoved in the faces of Xbox. When Outer Worlds went on to PlayStation, they said, you will never get a first-party PlayStation exclusive, go to Xbox. And here we are.
Yep. Here we are.
That's what they said.
It wasn't PlayStation's choice, though, to be honest. Let's be honest. The people who own MLB The Show have said, we need revenue. You're not making enough. We're not selling enough copies there. The only way to do that is to diversify.
Yeah.
And that's why Xbox has been going to PC, diversifying. Jim Ryan has said, PlayStation only can no longer sustain us. They are branching out. And people who talk about Game Pass fodder, I want to talk about that as well, because people are going, oh, it's just a sports game. People were saying rubbish about Outriders, saying, oh, that's just a Game Pass fodder game.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're paying on the Sony side $70 for Game Pass fodder.
Yeah. That's it.
Flipping it over on them and letting them realize how stupid their arguments are is important. They don't realize how toxic they are for our gaming community and how ridiculous they sound. And I think when we talk about how the media's now been releasing articles about this, and cracks are starting to show about the positivity towards a more positive mind and centric in the gaming media towards Xbox. I wouldn't necessarily say it's amazing. I would say it's what were we saying before the show? It's more like they're more reasonable around it. They don't trash PlayStation. Yeah. They're more positive towards Xbox, but they're very reasonable, and they treat PlayStation with kid gloves in the sense of, hey, you guys are doing good, but you could be doing better. Yeah. But if it was Xbox's side,
that'd be absolutely destroying them.
We weren't doing so well, it
especially
would be
IGN.
Xbox is dead.
Yeah. Well,
and I think the first two media people were Forbes and Tech Radar are the ones that are coming out and actively saying that they are playing Xbox over PlayStation. Yeah. Because it is just easier for them.
Yeah, it's better. The smart delivery and stuff. It just saves that. But I was just going to go into the bit. I forget about this. Yeah, exactly. Which people were loving.
But now I know this is another thing. People were talking right when we had the Bethesda acquisition. We had PlayStation people coming out port begging. No one was port begging for MLB The Show. Yeah. No one was port begging for that whatsoever. But the moment something could become exclusive away from PlayStation, people port beg. And that's just PlayStation fans pork-bigging, just because you guys are too cheap, apparently, to go buy another platform, whether that is PC, whether that is Xbox, whether that is just paying for a Game Pass subscription so you can get access to xCloud. If you're too cheap, why are you paying $70 for a video game?
Yeah.
Per video game.
The thing
I don't know.
The thing we've not covered in this, and all the biggest joke is people are still questioning Game Pass. They still think Game Pass. One, Game Pass doesn't make money. For two, it's a service that's going to not going to last very long because it can't sustain itself. And three, developers are losing money by putting their games on Game Pass. If any of those things are true, why are pretty much all the biggest businesses in the world doing this? Why are Disney doing it? Why are Amazon doing it? We've got Netflix. Why have we got even PlayStation doing it with PS Now? Why are they doing it? Why have we got Fortnite? Fortnite's one of the biggest games, but the game was free. How did they make money then? How's it still going? You know, is it magic? How is this? Because pretty much Fortnite is a game of service, isn't it? The game's free to everyone to play, but it survives on its microtransactions. Basically, it's that income, and it keeps going and going and going and getting stronger by its user count and things like that. It's microtransactions.
That's a good segue into our next topic, anyway. About people wanting to cancel games.
Yes.
That is currently this whole cancel culture. So right now on Twitter, there are people outright trying to cancel Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because they don't think it's fair, or they're trying to say physical only, because they don't want you buying Game Pass because they, in their minds, think that you can't own your game.
Yeah.
They think that you rent it, and they think that you can't keep your game or even purchase your game. You're just renting the game. Like we have said, you have an opportunity to buy the game if you want. You don't have to, but you get to try it and decide for yourself if you want to put money on that game or not. Yeah. And why would you cancel that? People were renting games forever through Blockbuster and all of those sort of things, giving those games back. Why weren't you cancelling that back then, guys?
Yeah, and as my recent video showed, in 2018 it was recorded. This is back in 2018. This is pre-COVID. Only 20% of gamers bought physical copies. 80% were buying digital. So digital's far exceeded physical copies anyway now. So, you know, the whole I want to own my games narrative is just nonsense. It's a myth. People just want to play games.
Do you game share?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
I game share.
Yeah. And what do we get? What do we get with game share?
You buy a digital game once, and you get to share it with another person, so they don't have to pay for it either.
Yeah, you get 2 licenses.
So you're buying 2 licenses, 1 game.
Yeah, 1 game.
If I bought physical, I would have to buy 2 games.
Yeah.
And pay for 2 games. I still own the game.
Yeah.
I just happen to share it with another person so they can play it as well. Yeah. Like, what is wrong with that? That's the same with Game Pass. I game share, I play Game Pass, my sister gets access to all my Game Pass games. And if we both like a game, we both decide, okay, which game are we going to purchase? And we purchase it. Obviously, I haven't really been purchasing any first party because they're going to be on Game Pass forever. Yeah. Thank goodness. But third party, I really don't get the idea of cancelling Game Pass. So if you're going to say cancel Game Pass or physical only, why are you on Netflix? Why are you on Hulu? Why do you watch YouTube?
Amazon. Yeah, why do you watch YouTube? Yeah.
What's Spotify for, guys?
Let's do a direct comparison as well for that. So, to buy 2 copies of MLB The Show on PlayStation, it's going to cost you $140. To buy 2 copies via Game Pass of MLB The Show, and actually own 2 copies, because each copy is 56 quid via Game Pass, that's going to cost you £112 now. So £112 for 2 copies of owned versions of MLB The Show versus £140. 112 or 140. What would you rather pay for 2 copies of the game? And you own the game. You know, it's just ridiculous, basically.
Well, what are you going to do when you buy those 2 copies on PlayStation, and you find out you don't like the game?
Well, actually, no, I'm wrong there, aren't I? Because I've sort of doubled the £56, but it's not. It's £56, and you get 2 copies. So you get 2 copies of if you bought MLB Show, you're buying 2 copies of MLB Show for $56. Whereas if you bought 2 copies of MLB The Show on PlayStation, it's cost you $140. So, yes, there we go.
Game Pass is here to stay.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's here to stay. You listen to any podcast that's to do with the Xbox. You go onto Twitter. You watch read reviews or watch review videos, anything like that, and you can see what Game Pass is and why it is here to stay. People are thoroughly enjoying the service. It is introducing gamers to types of games they've never experienced before, because there are some amazing indie gems out there that people think indie games are trash. Indie games push the gaming industry forward because they have that time to work on a game, they try something new, and they get to experiment with gameplay elements and such, unlike you would get in a AAA type environment. They are pushing our industry that we are a part of, that we love, that we actively engage in, forward by innovating in ways that AAA studios wouldn't usually do. So how are we getting exposure to all these indie games? Through Game Pass. It is a great experience for these indie developers to have access to over 20 million Xbox gamers, because they are seeing interactions like they've never seen before. People are actually going out and purchasing their games like they've never seen before. It is a great way to dip your toe into gaming if you aren't big on all those AAA games and you're like, I don't know what to play next. You have so many games available at your hands just through Game Pass.
Game Pass saves
about this physical crap.
Game Pass saves so many developers, because so many developers bring out these little games and nobody goes out to the shop and buys them. A lot of them just go straight under the radar, or they're never seen again, and you just think that so many developers have put a lot of work into these games and nobody's seeing them. But when they go into Game Pass, it comes up on your thing, and people are like, yep, download that, have a go at that. And people are actually then experiencing and playing these games that they never would have paid $40 for, $60, $70.
It's free marketing.
Yeah, it's free marketing. And then through that, then you can just buy the game anyway. And developers are loving it. Developers have actually come out, because I think that's, what's it, Destin? Is it Destin? Is he an IGN guy on YouTube? I'm watching him recently.
Yeah, he's got his YouTube channel.
Yeah, he's quite good. He actually commented to one of my comments the other day and agreed with me. Yeah, it's developers are loving Game Pass. They like putting their games on it because their games are now finally have got a market, have got are being played, an audience.
They've got a home.
Yeah, they've got a home now. So they're like, yeah, can I have my game in your Game Pass, please? Yeah, because people are downloading these games and playing them. And if there's microtransactions in it because the game's free, they might be purchasing them, or they might just be actually buying the game now.
And I want to talk about we're talking about for console, right? We're talking about for console. They have got a home for PC as well, and that is basically Steam.
Yeah.
That is where indies live on PC.
How does Steam
survive? Now living on Game Pass on console.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think that these indie devs, indie developers, are not only getting that free exposure. Oh, obviously it's not free. Xbox is paying them to put the game on there and blah 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 blah.
And they're paying per download.
They're not paying it though. But when a prominent YouTuber or a influencer or whatever you want to talk, a Twitch streamer or anything like that is playing a game on Game Pass, and they say they like a game, who do you think they're going to tell? Their audience, which is the hardcore part of the gaming community. It's going to trickle down. Their game is going to pick up traction, and it's going to mean that they're likely going to be able to make a sequel. Maybe be able to afford another game that they were planning on making and they had to make cuts, or they couldn't afford to make it, and now they can because people have bought into that. Stop making Game Pass out to be this apocalyptic end of the gaming industry. It's not. And I don't understand why it has turned into cancel Game Pass or physical only.
It's desperation. They see it as a win, and they don't like it. They don't like Xbox winning anything, and it's fear. I think there's a lot of fear.
Here to stay.
Yeah, Yeah.
But so is digital and so is Game Pass.
And why are you so hung up by an Xbox don't make money from it? Why are you hung up by if Xbox makes money from it or not anyway? What's that got anything? Why are you suddenly concerned about Xbox making money? That's the weird thing they come out with. Well, Xbox ain't making money from it. Why is that your concern? You don't even own an Xbox. Why do you care? What's your concern that Xbox not making money?
Their concern will stop when it's PlayStation doing the same thing.
Yeah. Which they pretty much already do, but just a poor version of it with PS Now, which is streaming. It didn't work.
PS Now, PS Plus.
Yeah, PS Plus, whatever it's called. I'm not sure. Getting confused.
Poor man's Game Pass.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the next topic?
Move along.
Which sort of takes us into the next topic.
Let's talk about PS3, PSP, and the PS Vita store closing.
Yes, talking about Game Pass. Game Pass can't sustain itself. It's not making money. Yada yada yada. Whereas Sony are making so much money, they're all powerful. Yada yada yada. They now close PS3, PSP, and PS Vita stores. What is that telling you?
Yeah.
What is that telling you? Go on.
Well, it's telling me that no one's playing old games apparently.
Yeah.
Because, Jim Ryan did come out and say that no one plays old games.
Yeah, he did.
So if they don't play old games, why would the PS5 be back compatible?
Yeah.
With the PS4 games?
Why would they keep releasing £70 remasters of old games? Why would they do that? It's weird. And why are these people buying them?
I was actually quite surprised about this. Yeah. Why couldn't they have made it into its own, like put the PS3, PSP, and PS Vita store into its own store, and all three in one?
Yeah.
Why are they separate stores?
Yeah.
That's all they needed to do, is put them all into their own thing. This is just, and this is sad because I saw something come out on Twitter. Was it today or the last 24 to 48 hours? An actual indie dev was making a game for the PSP, and they had to cancel that project because they weren't aware that the PlayStation store was closing for the PSP.
Yeah. So shutting their own
Sucks to be that
developers.
developer.
Yeah, just shutting their own developers. This is why developers are moving away from Sony. It's greed. Their greed's getting the better of them. They're panicking now, and they've just gone into full greed mode, where they just want to grasp as much money as possible. Because the horrible thing about this is, you talk about we can still play. Imagine you want to buy a PS3 game and play it on your PS5. The only way you can do it now is either wait for a £70 remaster for it, or you have to get it through PS Now or something. Now you're forced to have to subscribe to play older games now, or wait for a £70 remaster because Sony doesn't.
Or physical only, because you know how much they are about that physical only.
Yeah, if you can find it. So it's just terribly greedy and lazy of Sony.
Yeah, they're now. I think to encourage people to go onto that PS Now service, which is their streaming service, which is hopefully going to get a refresh, rebrand, revitalize, resuscitation, something. It needs something. People will now be funneling into that service to play those games they want to play, unless they already have a PlayStation 3 and are doing physical media that way. Alternatively, it could be a sign that PlayStation is being quiet because they are somehow figuring out how to do backwards compatibility with PS3 games. But what does that mean for PSP and PS Vita? It means that those are officially gone.
Yeah. So
I think there is a chance that they've figured out the PS3 backwards compatibility.
So to clarify, if you've got a PS3 game that's digital on your, can you still play it?
I would assume so, since it's installed on your system. It's no longer.
What about the servers for that game, though? Are they closing any servers, or it's just a sort?
It depends if the servers have been shut down, because it depends who I guess on the individual game as to who you have running your servers. Like if it's the publisher, or if it's running through someone else. Because I don't know. It could be they were using it on EA servers. Who knows? Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see how many PS3 remasters we get on PS5 now going forward. I mean, we've already got Demon Souls, so it'd be interesting to see going forward how many remasters we start getting from Sony. If they just start remastering old games, which is awful, which is what they do with their movies. Really, they just rehash old films, don't they, and remake and remaster old films. So that's for the movies, which is awful, which is lazy. But they've always sort of been.
I was just kind of sad about hearing that. I mean, you look at Xbox's store. Xbox's store has not separated out the 360 or anything like that. Everything is included in there.
Yeah.
Backwards compatibility, and Phil has made it this a notion. You own that. You bought that game. You get to take it with you, kind of like PC, and which is why there's such a good good compatibility with Xbox and PC, and why games on Xbox and PC kind of get released at the same time and everything like that. They're trying to make it as even and as compatible as possible.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you're playing your game, no matter if you're starting on PC, you're going to Xbox, you have that functionality to switch between the two, and no matter what, your games will move with you moving forward. Cutting this off and saying PS3, PSP, and PS Vita store no longer exists, it's going to make it harder for their games to move forward with them. It's literally that whole we believe in generations. Yes, you believe in generations, and you believe it cutting your loyal fans off at the knees. That's what I feel like. I feel like they've shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I just feel like they've never really cared for their fans, and it's that's why I just find it. That's why I've always called their fans deluded. Yeah, deluded, that they think they have their best interests at heart, and they're just so hateful against Xbox when it's just so openly obvious that Sony really don't care for them, and they're really quite happy just to hang their own fans all the time just for money, for profits, and they bend the knee too easy, their fans, to them. It's a shame, really. It's a sad state of gaming, really.
Well, it could be that it wasn't sustainable, like we said, that this just wasn't sustainable moving forward to keep these stores open.
Yeah.
They can easily integrate them into the store that they've already got.
Yeah.
I don't see why they can't. Like, having separate stores is stupid.
Yeah.
If they are closing these and integrating them into their other store, then that's perfectly fine. And I kudos to them, and I think that's what they should be doing. That is the right thing to do for your community.
Yeah, because
if you in that community are not asking for this, there is something wrong with you not asking for better from your community.
Yeah, it could actually show hard times at Sony. They could actually be struggling with money, so they're making cuts. They're cutting stuff just to save, some dollars.
I don't think their software sales are as good as they should be, considering Game Pass exists.
Yeah.
People are paying for those big $70 games that you can only get on PlayStation, but a lot of other people are using Game Pass to play everything else.
Yeah. We just think about the amount of people that own a PS4 or PS5 and Xbox, and Outriders come out. How many people just played that on Game Pass and didn't even pick it up on PlayStation? I can't see why if you had both consoles, why you would pick up. Or even if you had a PC and a PlayStation, why would you pick up on PlayStation when you can just play it on PC off of Game Pass for free?
Guy who said he was getting rid of his 30 hours worth of gameplay or whatever with Outriders and starting afresh on Series X, and that was partly because he doesn't like the ecosystem that PlayStation 5 is currently now. The UI is broken on the PS5.
Oh yeah, who's that?
It's really not user friendly. And I can attest to that. And like I said, I will be talking about my first-hand experience using a PS5.
Check out
in a video later this week.
Yeah, check that out, guys.
So I will talk about that. But it's just interesting.
Should we go on to the final topic?
Is there anything else you want?
No,
yeah,
I think we're going to the final topic. Final topic.
Are you purchasing this item?
The world's most powerful item.
Mini fridge.
Yeah.
Are you purchasing it?
I'll bring a picture up when I'm in the editing. Yeah, it depends solely on the price. It looks nice. It looks fantastic. It looks gorgeous. It'd be nice to sit in your game room. Yeah. My only concern is the amount of drink you get in it. The actual fridge space is quite small, and that is my only worry. That's
take
why
the shelving out and turn it into a keg. I mean,
looking at the picture, you could probably and actually the picture that I've got, it only has 5 cans in it. Or yeah, it shows 5 cans. So and that looks like it's taken up about 3/4 of the space in there. It depends on the price. It doesn't look like you can get many cans in there. It looks like you'll only get enough cans in there just for just a gaming session, and then you have to top up again. So I will buy it depending on the price. I mean, if it's £100, I will buy it. If we're looking at £300 or £400, then no.
Now, if you have not been alive on Twitter the last few days, you will have missed the fact that there was a poll between Skittles and Xbox. Skittles was releasing a lime flavor one, and then Xbox was up against them. And then there was some incentive dropped by Aaron Greenberg saying if we vote for Xbox, they will put the mini fridge into production. So we, as everyday gamers who have missed out on that giant Xbox fridge that I really, really want.
I want the big one, yeah. That's what I'd like to buy, yeah.
I want the big one.
Yeah.
But I will take a consolation prize and get an Xbox mini fridge.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know, we won the poll as Xbox gamers. Everyone was retweeting it. Everyone was getting everyone and their friends to vote on this poll. We won by less than a whole %. It was such a close race.
How many PS fans do you think voted for Skills? I
didn't think about that, and I hope they didn't, because secretly I think all of them would love some type of gaming mini fridge. I mean, you said it can only fit 5 cans in it. I wouldn't care if it could only fit 5 cans in it.
Why would you vote for Lime Skills?
It was sit by... I voted for Xbox, obviously, not for Lime Skittles. That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, and why?
I will put the fridge next to my Xbox.
Yeah.
And not only will I do that, I will put cans in, and 5 cans at a time per gaming session is perfectly fine for me, keeping them cool, so I don't have to go upstairs to my fridge when I'm gaming to get another drink when I run out. So it works out really good. It is really small, but damn does it look good.
These are large cans, by the way.
I'm so excited for it.
I was going to say, it does fit in large cans.
The price, though.
It does fit in large cans. They're not, I don't know what I think from my experience going to America, the cans of beer in America are like this regular, like the same size as Coca-Cola cans. Whereas I don't know what they're like I don't know what they're like in New Zealand though. I mean, the cans over in England, cans of beer.
Our cans would be the same as yours over in England.
So the same size as like the Monster cans. You know, you get those cans of Monster. They're big, aren't they? Yeah. So the cans are like that. They're big.
Pretty large.
They're big cans. They're not small little Coca-Cola cans. So they are big cans. So probably if you had small cans in there, you'd probably get twice as many if you had smaller cans. But looking at the picture, you get also there's some stickers, and there's also it looks like you can get a sticker for your controller. It looks like, I don't know if that comes with it, but it looks like it's got a, what do you call it, where you can stick something over your controller so your controller's got a pattern on it.
Like a vinyl?
Yeah, you can sort of, so you can sort of, I can't remember what it's called now. A skin, that's it, a skin.
I don't know.
It looks like it's got a controller skin as well that possibly comes with it. Because it's just in the picture of things you get, possibly. So, or you might even get the cans of Coke with it, these cans or whatever they are. They're by Zoa, so I don't know what Zoa is. But they're 5 cans of Zoa.
I think that is the, from my understanding, that is the brand of energy drink that, I think it's energy drink, I don't know, that the Rockers
right, so they're trying to go head to head with Monster then. So I wonder if you get the 5 cans of Zoa in it, because in the picture I've got up, which everyone can see because I'm going to put it into the editing, there's a picture of the fridge, there's a picture of a controller with a pattern on it, there's a picture, 5 cans of Zoa, and then there's 2 other stickers sitting there.
if they were sending it out in the size that iJustine got, then I would assume they're probably not going to do that if they want to put this into mass production for the most part, because the hardest thing is, and you and I were talking about this before the show, was the likelihood of getting this fridge is going to be ridiculously hard, because everyone is going to be wanting to buy that. As an Xbox gamer who's the hardcore, are going to be wanting to pick one of these mini fridges up. My sister wants one. I want one. It's hard enough finding a Series X or a Series S as it is.
Yeah.
How hard is it going to be to get these fridges? And you even said that people are going to scalp those.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that's going to be nightmare. Nightmare.
I wonder why the PlayStation don't do something similar, but have a router that looks like the PS5.
I think we already discussed this earlier. Sony is on hard times financially. And I don't know why people aren't really talking about that more.
Nah, not.
But apparently new games, new next gen games cost a lot more to make, so they they're pulling back on everything.
Who'd have thought? Who would have thought, eh? Well, should we wind it down there then?
Yes. I think so. I think it's been how long have we been on now?
So just an hour, about an hour.
Rambling an hour. Okay,
Yeah.
sounds like us.
Our rant.
We will be back. We'll be back next week. Fingers crossed, nothing else gets in the way of our livelihood.
Yeah.
I might be painting the outside of my house, but I did find the colour for my walls for the inside, so
Yellow.
that's going to be great.
Brown.
Definitely not.
Yellow and brown.
No, it's going to be black and green like my Series X. No, I'm
Oh yeah, imagine that. Imagine you paint it all green. They did was it like a luminous green like the Xbox green?
Favourite
Imagine
colour.
that.
I will be painting it green. No,
Walls and
I would
ceiling
not.
with
Yeah,
big X on it,
no.
white X. That'd be weird, wouldn't it?
I may do a feature wall for my gaming room, and if that is the case, then I have to decide on my design. But it will be Xbox themed because, obsessed. It'll probably have some Mass Effect in it and then some Zelda because those are like my two biggest things.
Yeah.
But yeah, what? Any plans for the week? Any games you're going to be playing?
Yeah, so I'm gonna restart. I'm gonna restart now, thanks to you, on Outriders, and I might play the Pyro or I might play the Sniper. I have to go back and have a look there. Yeah.
What's the other one?
There's
The
like a
pulverizing
tank.
one.
Yeah, a tank thing. We're always
Yeah.
figures. Even though when I played, I was sort of just running enemies anyway, so I might even try that. I was just running into one, just with a shotgun, just
Running
close
into them
combat.
too and just like
Yeah, exactly.
turning
Yeah,
them into skeletons.
yeah. Because
We will have to play actually.
Yeah, we'll have to
Sometime
get on
this week, you and I will have to get on and play some Outriders.
Well, let me restart
if
with a new
anyone
character
wants
then. Otherwise, I'm behind in ISO.
Trying to get my sister to play it, but if anyone who's already added me on Xbox Live wants to play some Destiny, let me know.
And we need to get people into our Discord as well. I need to get people. I need to put
Yeah.
a link to the Discord somewhere on this podcast,
Yep.
and then the videos going forward. I think so. Right.
Thank you so much for sticking with us for this long and listening to me rant, and
Yeah.
we appreciate you listening to us rant because we're not insiders in anything. No one tells us any news. We're just telling you how we see it as we see it, and then
And a lot of times we're right.
hopefully you find our opinions somewhat validating or even annoying. Who knows?
Please give your opinions down below
Hope
though,
you get
and post some comments. We'd like to hear people's comments. We'll get chatting with you in the comments below. We're quite active, and
if
please
you
sub
listen
and
this
share.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up, share, hit that notification icon. But if you listen this long, put Elite's a fraud in the chat, as you should every week, because he is.
Every week. Yeah. And
All right.
yeah.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Goodbye for now.